Hello there. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner. Here we talk about anything and everything relating to comics and the media inspired by them. I'm CJ Medeiros.
And I'm Jason Wilson. I can't believe this is our first episode of the new semester, CJ. And let me tell you, I'm pumped to be back.
Same here, Jason. And while many of us love comics, we also love comic book movies. From Marvel to DC, comic book movies have captured the hearts and imaginations of all ages, and they've been quite lucrative at the box office. And a few of them have been wildly successful as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or MCU for short.
You're right about that, CJ. That's why today we're going to be talking about a recent Marvel escapade, Secret Invasion. For those unaware, Secret Invasion involves Nick Fury coming back to Earth to fight off evil Skrulls. Yes, the people that can shapeshift into anyone from taking over the Earth. Now, when it comes down to it, this is an awesome sounding show, right? No one to trust, who is who, anything can happen in the show, where people can shapeshift.
But here's the problem, Jason. For a show filled with plot twists, the twists, by all consensus, were rushed and unearned. They came out of left field, but not in a way that made any sense to the plot. They were just kind of there to be there. Like, for example, War Machine was a Skrull, which ended up raising more questions than it answered. And it only served to anger the fans. So much so, the Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 53%, which is well below what fans were expecting, and worse yet, it made TV Line's top 10 worst TV shows of 2023. But Jason, overall, what are your thoughts?
To reiterate as well, the weird plot point of War Machine being implied that he's been swapped since Captain America's Civil War does not help anything and makes no sense. Saying in those key moments containing War Machine from the past 10 plus years, and yes, I even mean the time skip as well, saying key moments of Tony Stark's death, Sam Wilson becoming Captain America, just to name a few, it made no sense and felt completely rushed and forced. Skrull do not get certain understandings of people. They take over, but think of some random dude where the whole time ruins every major moment within movies and show plots. Overall, a great premise turned to ash poorly over time. But to be honest, this was just a setup show, and those are not always going to be the good compared to the major movies that will eventually come out.
Look, I look forward to the major movies as well, but you're right about it being a setup, and it might not be good. But there are other movies like Deadpool and Wolverine, Fantastic Four, and others that are going to come out soon, and those I think are also worth looking forward to. That being said, the MCU does have some serious problems when it comes to the movies and shows. And there are just some things that fans cannot ignore. But before I go on my rant, Jason, would you care to take us through some of their recent misses?
That missile is targeted to the Giant's current position! Where's the Giant, Mansley?
Well, uh, we can duck and cover. There's a fallout shelter right there.
There's no way to survive this, you idiot!
I'm going to be honest, these past few movies, beside Guardians 3, are all seemingly unenjoyable. Unless you're looking for a basic action comedy, that's what essentially all of these have become. The MCU was built upon a poor format of cinema where you have to pay attention to every single detail, and those fans who are trying to get into movies and shows late have no idea what is going on.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
To look at it this way, the MCU has originally multiple storylines intertwined to eventually into one. But why does it always have to be that way? Not everything needs to be connected whatsoever, I feel. A lot of these movies and new introduction of characters is always promising, but somehow always comes up short. Things to blame is tradition and nostalgia coming into play. Big shout out to my dad for always saying the same line of, since Iron Man's dead, nothing's been really the same. And I guess what? He's right. The major hitters from Marvel were Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. To see those two gone immediately drove away people from the product over time. Sure, there's been decent to great movies like Spider-Man No Way Home, Wakanda Forever, Shang-Chi, and of course Guardians 3. But every other movie has been lackluster with multiple plot holes. The reason people are hopeful for DC is because they have someone in charge the people trust. A nerd.
Nerd!
James Gunn has hit every note when it comes to his comic book movies. And has been trusted with the product because guess what? He reads the actual material. People like and dislike change, but there's something that can't be denied. There needs to be one.
But it's becoming increasingly obvious. I can deny it no longer! I am
Horrible. Especially with these recent random director choices, and listen, just because certain directors have a good resume, doesn't always mean that they're the best to direct.
What these movies have in common, Jason, is just an overall lack of focus. They just exist for the sake of existing, then they get the money wrung out of them, and then Marvel and their corporate execs will just move on to the next project. They've become blander and blander. They're taking fewer risks, and the risks they do take are poorly calculated, like that cinematic train wreck that was the Eternals or the jumbled mess of Quantumania. Another thing that fans often know is that while these movies are funny, because it's Marvel, they're becoming too funny. Characters like Deadpool, Spider-Man, and Iron Man, well, yeah, they're supposed to be witty, quippy, and all of that. But characters like Winter Soldier and Thor becoming punchlines, it's really starting to water the MCU down. They can't have a serious moment, it seems. And everything, and I mean almost everything, is done for a cheap laugh. And like I said, that's fine. Some movies are supposed to be that way. But some shouldn't be. And probably the biggest issue right now, however, is just the lack of direction they have. To build on your point earlier, originally the MCU had a storyline to build around, and that was Thanos, and it brought a whole universe together in Endgame, including, guys like the Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, and all those other guys, and it concluded the aptly named Infinity Saga. But now, what are they doing? They've introduced some new characters, but without these pointless cameos and nostalgia bait, like you mentioned, it has just grown listless. Also in part because they've just made too many TV shows that just tie into the universe as well, and they contribute to the lack of overall plot. It's subtraction by addition through oversaturation. But I think it can be reversed. I do. However, it's not going to happen overnight.
I 100% agree. This change can happen. It just needs time, of course. I then take into account what works and what doesn't. They can make a change. The oversaturation of comedy, cameos, and nostalgia are true to the T. I don't understand why they sacrifice good writing and storytelling for the characters for a cricket of laughs, not even a nose flare.
What are they, vegetables or fruit? And what does that make? Ketchup.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Now, listen, I'll be honest. Marvel, it's not all to blame, though. You can blame Disney for trying to consistently try and cash in on the superhero genre every single day, ever since it's become mainstream as it's been.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
Instead of multiple movies a year and super specific deadlines, focus on what matters. Getting the stories right and writing something meaningful, as well as enjoyable taking your time with projects, even delaying them if needed. I mean, it's not like the entire brand of Marvel has source material for characters like, comic books for these projects that directors could even use. Truthfully, there is hope though they just need to act on it. Soon. Very soon. Or else things will continue to go downhill.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Jason. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be over for the MCU. And like we said, it can be fixed. But as for now, we just have to wait and watch and see what becomes of the new Deadpool movie, especially now that the MCU has control of it. Making it a hit, like a real hit, just might reverse their fortunes. But that will do it for us tonight. It's great to be back, and we cannot wait to see what happens next with the MCU and with the show. So you definitely want to tune in next time. And I just want to say thanks for watching, everyone. I'm CJ Medeiros.
And I'm Jason Wilson.
And that closes the book on this episode of Comic Book Corner.